Well, you guys, I finished the challenge. 30 days with Kiara LaShae, the Tabata challenge, and my results, as you can see. Yes. I wasn't really worried about pounds, so I actually went down to dress size, which is amazing. I am now back into a medium. Yes. So in October, she's going to be doing another challenge where you can sign up. So hit the link down below and sign up for the next Kiara LaShae Trap and Tone Challenge in October. And don't forget about the tea, y'all. The tea really aided in the look, okay? If you think it happened in a month, all because I was working out, no. It's also because of the tea. Sometimes I still ate pizza. But yay! Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondi Blue and I am back for another P-Valley review, y'all. All right, this was the season finale of the show and it was so good, and I am so annoyed that it may take like 2 years for the show to come back. That's what the writer, the head producer of the show, Katori, I forgot what her last name is, but it's always on the opening credits. I'm just spacing right now. But either way, 2 years sounds like a lot. We'll wait on it, but 2 years still sound like a lot. Like, we gonna need for y'all to call Tyler Perry, okay? See what we can do about this. I know we have to be in Chuckalisa, okay? But is there anything we can do about, quarantining the cast and just making sure that, specific sets are, sanitized ahead of time? Like, can we work this out? I'm scared because I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it so much. All right, y'all. And then I also hope that when y'all do come back, if y'all gonna come back and make us wait, give me at least 12 episodes. Don't come in here with another 8 episode season. Okay, P-Valley people? Thank you. Okay, so look. The episode starts off where the last one left off, which was with Haley, aka Autumn, in a private room, in a paradise room with Montavious. Okay? Montavious is not dead. She thought he was. He wants to know where his money is. Okay, where's my money, Haley? And Haley, we're going to start calling her Haley now. Haley says, I thought I shot you. And he was like, not good enough. She meant to leave him for dead. She tells him that the money isn't there. It's at a bank. And he says, you want me to believe you put $250,000 in somebody's bank? And she was like, once I doused it with bourbon, they couldn't tell the difference. I could make a lot of money. A girl that looked like me up and down this Mason-Dixon line, okay? Up and down the Mississippi. I can go to strip clubs all over the South and rake up this cash. Which, especially in the early 2000s, I don't know when exactly this is set, but we believe this is the early 2000s. And if that is the case, you can definitely rake up 250 in a few weeks if you a stripper and you really on your game, okay? I don't know, because Haley, I told y'all, and everybody else keep telling y'all that light-skinned girls ain't got to do much, and what we mean is the other girls is doing gymnastics, okay? This bitch is just, giving y'all a lackadaisical but mesmerizing swerve, okay? Someone tries to get into the room, and before she can go and, try to run for help, he grabs her up. Don't just say nothing. And she like, look, somebody gonna see. They got cameras all over this place. And he says, that's why I'm gonna need for you to dance, Haley. Okay, because he's like, crazy and shit. Like, he's a nutty buddy. We can tell, okay? So she has to start to dance so that the people who are watching on the cameras, Big L, Uncle Clifford, will believe that everything is okay in that room. I'm like, I don't know, what's the point of this? Like, she's gonna dance until what? You know what I'm saying? If you want her to get you the money, then all you got to do is just, gun point her to the spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess he was gonna try to wait until the club closed. Like, how did he think that was gonna work out exactly? I don't know why he didn't wait until after when she was walking out. Like, that would have made more sense than walking into the club with all of the dramatics, okay? But you can tell by the country suit that this fool had on that he just has to make it a show. So, y'all, we see everybody all over the club getting ready for the Last Supper. Yes, okay, Lil Murda and Miss Mississippi about to perform, okay? Everybody's getting ready. The club is hype. Everybody's throwing money, even the strippers. Okay, and we see Lil Murda in his furrow. And then we see her walk up in her little vest that didn't it have like furrow on the vest? Like it was like a little maturization that was going on right there. He's still a little nervous. So she grabbed his hand And, the lights come up and, it's Lil Murder and Miss Mississippi, So he walk out on stage like straight into it on some shit, right? It was a vibe, okay? It was really a vibe. And as soon as he hear them singing the lyrics to the song, it made him feel some type of way. You could see like the moment slowed down and he was like, no way to love, and he like, oh shit. And then he gets into it. And it was so fun, y'all. This is what I was waiting on, to see them perform together. Her trick work was amazing. Y'all, we really have to take our hat off to these two specific characters on this show. Okay? Because I really do feel like Shannon and Lil Murder, Alphonse, I can't remember what his real name is, y'all. I'm always forgetting what his real name is. But they committed to their roles in such a way. Like, I really do love it. Like, I really do love specifically the two of them. And the Black Barbie thing with Shannon, I mean, she's really gorgeous. So the way she handles herself on the pole, like, it's crazy. It's such a crazy combination and something that you definitely want to watch. So he gets into the performance and throws his fur into the crowd, which y'all know this fur is probably for Uncle Clifford. So she goes out into the crowd to snatch it from the girl who caught it. Heifer, okay, don't play. So y'all know Woody, who is Lil Murder's manager and his little partner, who just confronted him last episode from seeing him coming up and through the woods with Uncle Clifford. Okay, obviously something is amiss. And Woody already knew about whatever the situation was with Uncle Clifford, but it was supposed to be a one-time thing and all of that. So now you got the manager here, and we got to act like none of that happened. But at the same time, this energy between Uncle Clifford and Lil Murder is very apparent. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna get to like that in a second, because that's gonna show up in another minute, okay? But this grimy looking ass dude who's supposed to be the music exec comes in, and he's really more interested in Mississippi than he is in Lil Murder. Diamond and Big L are at the door taking guns and knuckle braces and knives off of people. Big L says, Diamond, you can handle this. And he takes a bucket of the guns and knives and stuff and takes it into Uncle Clifford's office. Meanwhile, on stage, Lil Murder is doing another song called Mississippi Pride. M-I, cricket letter, I, humpback, I, pride. Yeah, it was going hard. And y'all know that's Mississippi name. Okay, so she going hard on the pole and the dance, and all of the other girls, there's choreography to it. They're moving at the same time. Like, there is a lot of good stuff happening, like, on this stage. Like, it's really a great performance. Now, Keyshawn is up there killing it. Meanwhile, Derek, her white baby daddy who beats her, is standing in the crowd like Lorenz Tate on the Rain on Me video. They getting all this love from the crowd. They come down off the stage, and the exec, walks right up to Lil Murder. Damn, you might as well take all my money. Okay, like just being extra greasy and grimy and, disingenuous. And yeah, I wasn't feeling him at all, okay? Now, they're supposed to go and talk about business in a little booth, in a little private, little room or something like that, right? But you got Derek, okay, screaming for Keyshawn, but Keyshawn is in the middle of trying to be Miss Mississippi with Lil Murder, trying to get this deal popping, okay? So he's calling after her, but she goes in with Lil Murder because, of course, the exec has to talk to her as well because he's more interested in her. So they go into the booth so that they can talk. Meanwhile, Derek is out there, like I said, yet again, looking like Lorenz Tate in the Rain on Me video. Keyshawn! Yeah, Keyshawn's busy right now, fool. What happened to the liquor that you just put on her tab? Go nurse that. Go do something with yourself. Mercedes is in a private room with the coach. I don't know why she continues to have relation with the coach. He make me feel some type of way. It's something about him as well that I feel like it's just, but I get it. Like when girls are in these positions, they have to use these relationships to their benefit. So they can't tell these dudes how, crazy they really be sounding sometimes, okay? Now, what really didn't make sense to me with Mercedes, why would you not take the money that was being given to you with no strings attached from Haley? You didn't want to take the $10,000 from her, but now you're gonna try to sell a piece of yourself to this crazy Negro, the coach, okay, who wants you to come and live up in his penthouse and have a key so he can come and go as he pleases.
you know, and he can go back home to his wife, and you have to be a caged bird that he comes to get his freak on whenever he wants to, and you sit in a skybox and all of that type of stuff. Like, he's selling his dream to her, and it doesn't sound good to her, and it doesn't sound good to me. So I don't understand why she thought this was a better alternative than taking the money from Haley, who was giving it to her with no strings attached. Makes no damn sense to me. Now, he gets offended when she asks him for, you know, this investment, this $10,000. But she says, you know, don't get it twisted. This relationship has always been transactional, which makes my nerves so bad with men. Like, you know, when the relationship has always been transactional and the women try to ask you for more than you're comfortable with giving, all of a sudden you want to get butthurt. Like, you know, this is not the type of relationship that I thought we would have. Like, no, you came in here to throw money at her. She came here to get the money you're throwing. What do you think is happening here, coach? Like, I know y'all like each other. Y'all have a rapport. But I do think that these men are disillusioned and act as if they aren't. You want this lady to give up her freedom so she can be your side chick. Like, that's not promising as far as I'm concerned. You know, it's always going to be on his terms, and nobody wants to live their life like that. Not really. So y'all, Uncle Clifford and Big L are in the office watching Haley dance for Montavious, and she takes off her bra. And it's supposed to be so somebody can come in, but everybody got something else to do. Okay, Uncle Clifford is like, oh, these girls, heifers, you know, so upset because it's the last day and Uncle Clifford doesn't want to get in trouble. They're not supposed to be showing nipple and serving liquor. So everybody's supposed to keep their breastises up. You know, he even had to yank up some girl who wanted Lil Murda to sign her breast. So Uncle Clifford had to like pull her shit up. Girl, oh, titties in here. Okay, and that means you too, big titty committee. Okay, and now you got Haley in there, okay, taking her bra off. So Uncle Clifford is, you know, obviously upset. They tell Diamond to handle it, but Big L has to take care of it because they got the little kid that Maine is always getting away his ankle monitor at the door with a fake ID that he obviously got from Maine, okay? So he's there, and I was like, is this kid really coming to the strip club? Like, I thought he was coming for the girls, okay? But oh no, he's there to give Mercedes, who's talking to Coach, the flyer that Maine saw down at the corner store, like what, maybe 2 episodes back. He was getting the ankle monitor back from the little fat boy, for lack of a better name for the young man, okay? But, okay, you know, you talk about him with sandwiches the first time we hear about him, okay? He's wearing your ankle monitor for food. So, you know, yeah. He comes in, gives Mercedes the flyer, and she's like, who the hell is Haley? And he was like, whoever the hoe is on the flyer. So she looks at it, she sees who it is, and now things are starting to come back. You know, she was feeling some type of way about watching Haley go into that room with that man, right? So now, you know, she has to keep it cool with Coach and not let him know that she's worried. But she says, you know, look, I just have to think about this because I feel like you asking for more than I'm willing to give right now, Coach. Okay, so she needs to go and check on Haley. So she runs to Uncle Clifford's office, beating on the door to get somebody to help. But Big L's ass is going to get the pills from Gidget's drug dealer boyfriend. Okay, remember they had a little thing where he's supposed to start selling pills now since he's not going to have the job with Uncle Clifford and nobody's going to hire him. So he's going back into the life. So he's going to the back of the building to get these drugs while all of this stuff is going on. So he never goes to Haley's rescue, all right? So now Mercedes is trying to go to her rescue, but nobody's answering the door. Murda, Mississippi, and Woody are talking to the grimy-ass executive, and he wants to make sure that Lil Murda is real and authentic and not somebody faking the funk, you know? And I understand that it's important to have, you know, authentic gangsters rapping gangster-like, but I also feel like you're perpetrating even in your energy. Like the executive is talking to Murda about being real when you can tell that the executive is so grimy and flawed and only showing you what he wants you to see and has all of this underlying debauchery going on. Like, I can already feel it. Like, first of all, is it the 80s? Like, this dude's jacket was so problematic to me, and the way he had the sleeves rolled up, it's like, was that animal print and the sleeves rolled up? Is this the 80s, or is Son giving hella bitch made vibes? Okay, anyway, He wants to give Lil Murda a 360 deal, but still very, very interested in signing Miss Mississippi and all of what can be done for Miss Mississippi. Okay, now Uncle Clifford, who sees that Derek is out there pacing back and forth like the crazy, white boy that he is, and they love to pace. Okay, she comes in and she puts her hand on Lil Murda's shoulder. Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all need anything in here? I can send y'all another bottle for you boys to take care of y'all business, And Lil Murda is like, hey, we handling business right now. Everybody is kind of like, there was a little attitude in that. And so, feeling really hurt, Uncle Clifford just says, okay, well, Miss Mississippi, don't stay in here too long. One of your regulars is out here looking for you, talking about Derek, okay? So as soon as Uncle Clifford walks out the door, the grimy executive says, damn, y'all don't know if y'all want to be men or women out here, making, of course, crass homophobic, transphobic comments, right? And so I'm so grateful for Miss Mississippi in this moment. Keyshawn said, don't be talking about my boss like that. And then she hit like a little bar about how he can rat-a-tat-tat on that, me vado and all of that. Whatever it was a line, it rhymed. I didn't write it down. I'm sorry. But either way, he was like, let me find out you could rap. I can do this, and this for you, And now Lil Murda is sitting up there feeling bad about shunning Uncle Clifford because you the one that said you wanted to be together, and now you're trying to play me like a soybean burger bitch in my establishment in front of this old grimy ass executive dude, in front of my employees. Like, come on now. It's disrespectful. This had to be the early 2000s because I feel like 360 deals are terrible now. I feel like we have an understanding that 360 deals sometimes end up screwing the artists. Because you have all these things going on and then you end up having all this money coming out of your money and you ain't getting enough of the return. Meanwhile, Montavious and Haley are still locked up in this room, okay? She has her nipples out hoping that somebody is going to come to save her. All right, and we wondering how long it's going to take for Mercedes to get there, since we know last time we checked in, Mercedes knew something was going on in that room, okay? So he tells her that he killed her little partner, whoever the guy was who was helping her with the financials, okay? Because we find out that Haley was actually a corporate accountant. Okay, not a stripper, a corporate accountant, okay, who could afford pole dancing classes, okay, and at this point should be able to shake those clappers a little bit better than she's doing, but that's besides the point. He killed her friend. Montavious says that she should have been his wife, and this is when we understand that Haley wasn't his wife, but a single mother whom he took in. Okay, she says the only thing that he was ever devoted to was that gang of his. And we keep hearing him talking about Delta Devoted. Okay, now we know that's going to be an issue next season. Okay, Montavious is a part of some brotherhood called Delta Devoted that's going to have his back while he out here doing all of this stuff that he's doing. So that tells us that next season that's going to be an issue. Okay, then Mercedes comes knocking on the door with the bottle and she gets into the room. I mean, she basically pushes him aside to get into the room. She pours him a glass of champagne and then she stands in front of Haley and, hands it to him, and he plays along for a moment. Uncle Clifford goes back to her office, hurt behind Lil Murda, shunning her in front of them people. And then he sees Haley, with her top off, like these trifling hoes, and ain't nobody went to, correct that situation yet. So, Haley is still in there dancing with no top on, and now Mercedes is in there, so upset about it. So he calls Diamond to see after Mercedes and Autumn. Ain't nobody got time for this. Ain't nobody got time. Okay? And then Lil Murda comes to the door, very apologetic, all on her face. And she says, you got exactly what you wanted. And Murda says, no, I didn't. And she says, well, you the one that said you didn't want to suck and fuck in the dark. So what was that? I don't know. I'm flexing. Shit, I'm out here. She says, well, you not LaMarcus to me no more. It was real nice getting to know LaMarcus. But you Lil Murda now. And you know where the door and the window is. And Lil Murda go ahead and leave, and tears in his eyes, and it's just, oh Lord, no, we wanted this to happen so bad. Then we see the executive is still talking to Mississippi about all he can do for her, a Nike deal. And Woody is like, a Nike deal? And, he's like, yeah, like I'm saying, yeah, you can definitely get her like the stripper, underwear and stuff, like Nike, athletic gear and stuff like that. Definitely. I definitely could see that happening in the future. The fact that they're putting it in the show means eventually it can be a possibility. Woody says, man, look, if you ain't got my man Murda best interest at heart, like, we don't need to get down. Like, who you here for? And the exec is like, well, really, Miss Mississippi is the one I came here for. Your boy Lil Murder come a dime a dozen. And, you know, Woody was like, well, we don't need the deal then. If this ain't about my boy, then we ain't got a deal. And this is when we realized how legit Woody is. And I was like, okay, this moment made me like Woody a bit. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, I like Woody a little bit. Derek dumbass, okay, was interrupting their meeting. Okay, Keyshawn. She's like, all right, I'm coming. Okay, so she got to go out there and see about him. And he ends up yoking her up on the side of the DJ booth, saying that it's time for her to go get her shit. And she better be in the car by the time he finished using the bathroom. Now, the whole time this conversation is going on, we know that Diamond is somewhere lurking. Okay, and Diamond sees this. Montavious tries to get Mercedes to leave, saying that he needs more champagne. And she's like, what you mean? The bottle half full. And he pours it onto the carpet. Okay, so now she realized, oh, we ain't playing nice no more. He says he'd like, you know, to finish enjoying this dance that he paid all this money for. And she was like, I don't see no money in here. If there was money being thrown, the floor would be green, not purple. She says, I'll leave if Haley wants me to leave, letting it be known that she knows what's going on here now. And then Haley says, you should go. And he says, yeah, you should go. So Mercedes says, okay, well, should I bring you the same thing or something harder? And then she takes the bottle and breaks it and then goes to like stab it at him. And he ends up grabbing her and yoking her up and putting it by her neck. Okay, and Haley is like, stop it. And you can see Haley going back and forth to when he put that gun to her head. I don't know why she didn't let Mercedes go get the money. But she was like, no, I'll go get it. And then we're done. We're through. You know, I guess. Okay, so she supposedly leaves to go and get the money. She goes to the locker and finds that the gun is not there, first of all, but she gets the money, and then instead of going back for Mercedes, she runs to her car, and then we see her look at the bag of money. Meanwhile, Montavious is telling Mercedes how cold-blooded Haley really is and how, you know, she's not going to come back for her. You know, she left him for dead. He says Haley ran out on him and she will do the same to Mercedes. She ran in the middle of the night after I took care of her and her daughter. Mercedes says, don't hate her for choosing her child over you. That's what good mothers do. Y'all know Mercedes be talking from up under the gut. And y'all, then Lil Murder goes on stage to perform another song. And when he was doing the push-ups over the mic, I was just like, oh, like it was just such a good choice. And for me, it was a good choice because it showed that he was adding physicality into his performance as a direct result of basically being put on and trained by strippers, people who perform physically. Okay, so him doing the push-ups, I feel like was, you know, basically similar to the girls, you know, doing their pole work, showing, you know, how strong he is, but also it's like a turn-on thing, like the effortlessness of it all. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a vibe. Diamond confronts Derek in the bathroom about putting his hands on Keyshawn. He says he doesn't know why Keyshawn deals with all of these gutter, you know, with the hard ER on the end. So they start fighting, and eventually they start fighting over a gun, and eventually that fight spills out into the club with gunshots raining into the crowd, and so now everybody's running. Uncle Clifford was in her office and saw Montavious going after Mercedes, so once she called in Diamond and Big L, nobody's answering, so she takes one of the guns that was brought back from people who were coming into the club and heads towards the Paradise Room, having to fight against the traffic of people running out. And one of the people that ran out the club was Gidget. Gidget runs up on Keyshawn, who's waiting outside the car, and she says Diamond and Derek are in there fighting, tearing the club down. So Keyshawn runs back into the club, y'all. So we jump back to Mercedes and Montavious and find that Haley actually did come back, and she busts into the room with the money to give to Montavious. But it's not about the money. I think he's there to kill her. He's there to kill her because he's an abusive boyfriend, okay? It's not really about the money, even though that's what helps fuel the anger. You know what I'm saying? So she says to him, you didn't even ask about Autumn. And he was like, oh, I'm sure she's okay. And she was like, no, she's dead. She drowned in the floods the night I was running from you. So Mercedes and Haley start fighting Montavious when they hear the gunshots from the fight between Derek and Diamond. Uncle Clifford comes into the room and starts busting. Now, I don't know if nobody taught Uncle Clifford how to shoot, because eventually Montavious is able to knock the gun out of Uncle Clifford's hands. So everybody's like fighting and trying to get the gun, and we see Haley kick Montavious at some point, and that's the last of what we see of that fight in the room with them. Back inside the main room, Keyshawn pulls a gun on Diamond just as he's blood all over the place. Derek definitely gave him a run for his money, but at this point he's beating the shit out of Derek onto the stage. He has the upper hand. And Keyshawn runs up with the gun and says, Diamond, stop, get off of him. So y'all know how we feel. We feel like here go another stupid, battered woman who has the opportunity to get out of the situation. And instead of running with a man that's going to protect you, you're going to pull a gun on him to protect not only a racist white man, but one that abuses you. And and probably your kids and stuff. Like, doing it around your kids is the same thing as doing it to your kids, because they'll grow up and be in relationships similar to that because of what you have shown them. Okay, so Keyshawn thinking that her children being light-skinned is going to save them from all of the issues that she's putting them through by being in this household with this crazy ass man is just ridiculous and ignorant. But yes, Chuck Lisa and their lack of education. Okay, so that's when we hear the gunshots from inside of the room with Mercedes and Montavious, Uncle Clifford, and Haley. Okay, so once, man, the look on Diamond's face, Diamond grabs his gun and runs to, real combat like, runs to see what's going on in the Paradise room. Right before he gets to the room, a couple of shots, like 3 or 4 shots, come through the door, and then you see blood on the floor, and we can just about guess Montavious is dead. The next morning, it's all over the news that there was a shooting down at the Pink, okay, at Lil Murder Night, okay. A whole bunch of people, 20 people were hurt. And we see Uncle Clifford and her grandmother getting ready to go down to this funeral, and she's all upset. And y'all know the funeral is really the auction. It's not a real funeral. Patrice finds Mercedes on the ground in front of her church, okay, with a unrealistic looking black eye and some terrible, going to the back prison braids, okay, like that looks like braids, when you're getting ready to go to jail, okay. Tasha St. Patrick has those same braids right now in Power Book 2, which I will be reviewing. Hold on. Mercedes looks up to her mom from the floor and says, God gives second chances, and she says thirds, fourths, and fifths. But you go and talk to your God about that, because I'm dead to you, remember? And then she walks off and leaves Mercedes begging her outside of this, First Baptist Tabernacle across the street from Jericho, down the road from Jesus Church, that she got up out of this storefront, okay? And leaves Mercedes there screaming behind her. It was terrible. So we see Andre and his wife checking out of the hotel, and she wants to go to the auction with him. And he's like, you don't have to. And she's like, oh no, I'm going to come with you. And then we're going to hurry up and get this plane back to Hotlanta. I'm like, how lame can you be for calling it Hotlanta? Girl, it's Atlanta. Please stop, okay? Like, it had to be the early 2000s for her to think it was okay to call it that. So all the strippers, y'all, showing up in their funeral black so that they can attend this auction. Okay, and they all sit behind Uncle Clifford and Grandma as we, get down to the specifics, okay? And Mayor Goddaddy comes over to the grandmother to, extend some type of apology. This scene definitely reminds me of the 5 Heartbeats when Big Red, who killed Jimmy, goes over to Jimmy's widow to say he's so sorry and, oh, she should never be alone, with tears and snot running down his face. And Jimmy's wife, aka Diane Carroll, slaps the dog shit out of him in a church full of people. Oh, hey, what's love now? Okay, now if y'all have seen the 5 Heartbeats as many times as I have, y'all know how that went. And y'all know that that is exactly what happened with the vocals in the church after she slapped the shit out of him. Okay, stick with me. All right, so back to the Pink P Valley. Okay, he's doing the same thing to Loretta Devine, and she tells him, fuck you. Okay, and then he goes, did I mention he had on a red suit like the devil? Okay, a whole red suit with a hat and everything, looking like the devil. Okay, and he goes and sits in the back next to Andre and his wife, and the auction starts. Now, it should be said that Andre can only bid up to 200K by himself without getting help. Okay, so he goes in there, and he's very eager, and I think he planned to bid more than he had to so that he could take some of the money. Like, I wasn't sure how that was supposed to go, but anyway, they start the bidding, and then here come Haley, y'all, dressed in all white with red under the brim of her white hat. I loved it. Y'all know what it reminded me of? When Lisa Ray was in what was it, Gang of Roses, and she had on, like, the white cowboy type of vibe. That's what it kind of gave to me. But anyway, so she's bidding, and y'all already know she has $250,000 from Montavious. Okay, she still has that money, so she bids on the club until she wins. And Mayor Goddaddy was so upset. Wait a minute. You gotta have the money right now. You gotta have the money right here today. If you don't have the money right here today, then you cannot take the bank. Okay? And she walks up with the $250,000 in cash in a duffel bag and opens it out onto the floor, and that is that. Okay? And Mayor Goddaddy is so pissed off that Andre could not get permission for more money without having to call them. Now, Andre had them on the phone. When they were in the middle of their bidding war, Andre had Bill on the phone. He was like, Andre, and he had a chance. But he looked at Haley and he let it ride. I saw that. He let it ride. Okay? So after, they're standing out in the hallway, and he, sees Haley down the hall, and she sees him, and she kind of smirks at him, and his wife looks up at him and looks down the hall at her, and then just walks out. And he's on the phone with Bill, so now he has to go and explain that. Uncle Clifford walks up to Haley and says, oh, look at you wearing white after Labor Day. You breaking all kind of rules. That's bad luck, huh? And she says, well, we make our own luck, partner. And they shake hands. They go back to the bank to clean up. Okay? While Grandma is in there, running her mouth and calling Haley all kinds of hoes and everything. Like, okay, I can see that shit. Like, whatever. Okay, y'all, I love Loretta Devine in this role. Okay? Uncle Clifford asks Haley, why did she save the pink? And she says, well, I feel like I owed y'all, and now you owe me. And then Mercedes comes in, looking down. Then Mercedes comes in looking all pitiful, y'all. She's feeling mighty down, y'all. She's feeling mighty bad. And then I see you, Miss Haley. Okay, like, that's the vibe she was giving. Okay, definitely feeling bad about killing Montavious. And she asked Uncle Clifford if it's handled, and Uncle Clifford says yes, it's handled. And Haley says good, because it's opening time at the bank. And then it went on, and I was like, yeah, okay, it was so good. I enjoyed it so much. This review is too long. I'm gonna have to edit the shit out of this later. Oh my god. But anyway, y'all, so I really wanted to draw the correlation, like, with Mercedes and Haley. When Haley came back to save Mercedes, I think it was because she did not want to lose another person because of Montavious. When he told her that he killed her partner from before, I think that made her know that it would happen again. And she didn't want that to happen to Mercedes. Because in some way, she didn't just owe Uncle Clifford. She owed Mercedes too. Okay, because Mercedes came to the rescue as well. You know what I'm saying? So I was just so happy it turned out the way it did. I liked the ending. I enjoyed the episode. I loved the show. Nikki Gilbert from R&B Divas and from Brownstone was on live and wanted to let everybody know that she feels as if they stole this storyline from her, and there were a lot of little specific things about P-Valley that was the same as her play. The Soul Kittens Cabaret is the name of it. And last night we was on live on Instagram, and we went on YouTube and looked it up, and we saw, some trailers and some, little cuts from it. And it is not the same vibe at all. It's not the same vibe at all as P-Valley. P-Valley seems to be more gritty, and Nikki Gilbert's play seems to be more Tyler Perry church, play type situation, even though it's not. It's more of a musical, and even though this is kind of a musical in the way that there is music created in the show and performed on the show, I still feel like it was not the same vibe at all. And even if it did have all of these little small characteristics that were the same, like Big L always wearing a hat and then her bodyguard always wearing a hat, or Haley having a red suitcase and her character having a red suitcase, or the owner of the pink being transgendered and her character being transgendered, when you heard all of that on paper, it did sound like, oh my God, Katori could have possibly have stolen this from her. But I still felt like Katori is like, you know, a real playwright from what I understand. And I don't feel like that's something that you would necessarily do and get away with if people hadn't done their homework. You know what I'm saying? So I went and looked for myself, and I feel like Nikki Gilbert can say everything she wants, but it's not the same. It does not feel the same. It doesn't seem to be focused on the same things. It seems to be a girl who gets caught up in the life and starts to feel herself a little bit too much. That is not what is going on in any character on the Pink. Maybe Mississippi, but not really. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, y'all, I was just kind of like, Nikki Gilbert just out here trying to get y'all to pay attention to her. That's all. And I had just watched that clip Ashley posted from R&B Divas back in the day with Selena Johnson cursed her out for dear God. Selena Johnson has a documentary about to come out. I need to go see what's going on with that. I think it's going to be on Fox Soul. I only have the app. They don't have it on Cox. But anyway, y'all, that's a little extra tea that y'all might not want to know. Whatever. I hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one.